out. My name is David Hart, and we're going to ask the guys some questions today and see if we can come up with some answers and ideas and brainstorming and whatever else we get out of these sessions. They're always productive, and there's always lots of good topics covered, so hang around. All right, so what I'll do is just the format will be I'm just going to ask a question, we'll go through the answer, then I'll ask the next person a question, and so forth. And the reason I'm doing that is so later we can separate these up into smaller videos and make it easier to find. That'll be a project for me at some point in the future, or somebody, maybe not even me. Okay, so I'll what I'll do is I'll just, from on my screen here, I'll start from Trevor. Trevor, what would you like to talk about today, or do you have something to talk about?
To be honest with you, I haven't really got any burning questions at the minute, so maybe I can go in the holding pattern, and if I think of something, I can chime in with it later.
Sounds good. Yeah, we can always come back around, and I'll do that anyway. I'll come back around at the end and see if there's any other questions. Paul, have you got anything that you want to jump into, talk about?
I'm not saying with Trevor. Well, there is, I suppose, one thing, which is, we've talked about this before, but basically discounts for siblings. I've got two kids that have just started. They came in for the open day, really sweet little 5-year-olds, and they're twins, a brother and a sister, and they're just phenomenal. And I kind of set, well, that's the price, and they came and they said, oh, well, yeah, we'll give it a go. So it's quite expensive after the 5 weeks to continue, but we have to have a chat about it. Now I kind of thought to myself, well, I don't want to miss that opportunity. And then I thought, well, actually, would that encourage more people to bring in a sibling? Would that be more longevity rather than someone starting and then dropping out? You know, is that a way of retaining siblings? I don't know. So it's kind of something that's going around my head in a minute. I remember we discussed this before, and I came to the conclusion that I didn't want to do it. But now I've kind of reopened the conversation again in my head. And I've got something quite cool to show you guys as well. I don't know if you guys remember back in January when I did my Praxathon, Taylor sent me some guitars.
Yep.
They sent me 2 more. Look at that.
Wow. They like it.
Yeah, apparently so. But that, I'm still quite excited about that. It only came yesterday. So I still got a buzz in.
Excellent, excellent. That's huge. So what are you going to do with that? You're going to have another Praxathon?
Yeah, same one as last year. Do a raffle for one of them and use the other one as a prize for the most money raised.
Excellent. Ben, did you want to chime in there?
I was just saying that's incredible. Nice work with the last Praxathon, and clearly Taylor agreed.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting other guitars. I was expecting maybe stickers, which they did send as well, actually. But I was just expecting the stickers, not anything of that kind of value.
I think we've got 2 topics here we can cover, so I'll go through both of them. One is the siblings. We'll talk about that, and then we'll talk about endorsements, which is what you're doing very well there, Paul. And it's not something I've done much of, but I know that there's a lot of opportunity with endorsements, and we're at a point where we can really get some leverage as a whole, and it's something, it's a conversation I guess we need to have. So let's just start with the sibling pricing and what's there. I never offered it. I never offered a kind of discount for siblings. I don't know. It's one of those things where I understand there are some families who, if they can get a discount for 2 kids, they might enroll both kids. That's possible. But it's not something I did, and I probably still wouldn't do it. But at the same time, I'm not going to deter anyone from offering some kind of deal. One of the things that came up, which I spoke to one of the members about the other day, was just generally pricing, and he was raising the topic about, are we all stuck on this one price? Does everybody have to charge the same price? And of course, there's some sense in the fact that we don't want to be undercutting each other. So you don't want, one G4 member charging a lot less than another. But there's also the fact that if as he pointed out, if you look at McDonald's or some of those kind of stores, they charge different prices in different areas, different countries, different locations. And so I think, you guys in the UK, which most of you are, you know that living in London is expensive. There's a price difference between living in London and living outside of London. And in some cases, I've stayed in London a few times. I actually, years ago had a relationship with a girl there, and I spent some time there. So, and she was living in a place called Hammersmith there, which you guys probably know. And yeah, the prices of things generally, and that she used to get paid more. I think a thing called London loading for people who worked in London. So I understand that there are some circumstances where charging more just because of the pricing comes into it, and I think that in that sense we do need to be flexible and allow teachers who go into those more high-priced areas to charge accordingly. In other words, to come up with a reasonable business plan. The same applies to offers that you want to do. If Paul, I've got no problem with it. I don't know if anyone else has an issue with it. The idea with G4 is that we're not competing. You guys aren't in the same suburb. You're not on each other's doorsteps. So there's none of this kind of, well, I'm going to go down there because they're cheaper. We shouldn't have any of that. It should be people are saying, well, this is the G4 school in my area. And if they say, well, that G4 school charges less or more, then you can simply say, well, that's because it's a different area. They set their pricing based on that particular area. Here we charge a bit more, but you can also come down to things like experience. You can just say, look, I'm a more experienced teacher, therefore I charge a higher rate. You do that anyway. I did that in the case of, when I set up my school, first G4 guitar school, and people would say, wow, you charge a lot compared to most other guitar teachers. Working out my group pricing, most guitar teachers in Sydney at that time, we're talking 10 years ago now, and just so you know, we're right on the anniversary of when G4 started. G4 started at the end of November in 2005, so 10 years old. But basically what I did when I started G4 Guitar then was I was charging the same prices that the guys are charging now, $99 a month. That was the rate that I had back then, except I was charging it for 3 months at a time instead of monthly. So the price hasn't changed in 10 years, and this was kind of the other topic: is are we at a point now where the price needs to go up a little bit? And I wouldn't say no. Put it that way. And if you guys think there needs to be a price rise, then that's something that you can look at and you can think about. The guys in the UK, if you think you need a price rise, I would look at it, because in the US they're actually getting more. If you look at the exchange rate, and in Australia it's $99. In the US it's $99, but the US exchange rate to the Australian dollar means that it's more like $70 for Australians. So the guys in Australia are actually under the pricing compared to what's going on in America, and so and I would say the same thing is happening with the UK. Well, it actually got pointed out the UK there's a difference there as well. So the US guys are actually charging more when we look at dollar for dollar, dollar for pound. So I don't know if you guys want to take it up to £69 or something like that. And I'm just throwing it out there while we're on this subject of pricing. So coming back to the sibling pricing or group pricing, that's something that you can do. I don't have, like I said, I don't have any problem with that. If you think that it's going to work for you, I think it's worth experimenting. One of the things that I really like about our network is that each of you are trying different things, and then you're feeding back. Paul just had a very successful open day, and now it's like, well, tell us, Paul, what did you do? Give us all the information. And that's what we want to do within the network. That's our advantage, is we want to sort of find out what's working for different people. So Paul, if you're prepared to do a sibling offer and maybe report back to us in 3 months or whatever, and tell us how it's going, whether it means more students, whether it's how much you're going to do it for. Do you have any pricing in mind for what you would do for a sibling deal?
I was thinking of just taking it down to £99, so taking it under the 100 mark, basically.
Okay, yeah. So 2 for 99. Okay, yeah. So try that, and yeah, just see what happens. You might even do it for a period. You might just say, look, for the first 3 months, we offer a special price. Then it goes to the normal price, and that gives you a chance to try it out and see whether or not it's really for you. And a nice way I think personally, a nice way to price it, because it just psychologically it's more attractive, and that is that you have one student at the normal price and the other student at, say, half price, and it looks like the second student's getting half price. And that's very attractive for a parent. But when you sort of put it together as £99, it's still attractive, but it doesn't quite seem the same, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I haven't thought about that before. That's quite interesting, actually.
Yeah, the pricing psychology. There's a lot in it. I've actually read a few books on it, and it's quite interesting. Pricing psychology, things like, and this doesn't apply to us, but I'll just give you another example. But when someone's negotiating a price, and they say to you, let's say it's £99, and they say to you, I'll give you £60, and then you might say, oh, how about £80? And they go £70, and you end up, discounting by £30. But if they come to you with £60, and this technique works really well, I used it for many years in selling, and you come back to them, they say £60, you come back to them, I've really tried hard to squeeze the price down. The best I can do for you is £92.47. How's that? And what it does is has that effect of, wow, right to the, in our case to the cent, your case to the p, and people sort of go, wow, that must be the bottom of the barrel, because they realise you're down to that. And just by doing that, and I did this experiment years ago in selling when I was only a teenager, and this technique, I learned it from a sales trainer at the company that I was working at in Australia at the time. That technique took me to #1 in the company, just that single technique. So instead of discounting, because what we were doing is we were getting paid on commissions, and we're getting marked on commission, so to speak, and I managed to increase my commission simply by using that technique, and people would pay it, and they would go, oh, okay, well, they wouldn't, once they get that price, once you're in the cents and the piece, then they don't negotiate. But again, I'm not saying that we use that here, but I'm just giving you another example of pricing psychology, and how thinking about the way that you frame something makes a lot of difference. We see this also in statistics. You see where they say, you can double your risk of getting cancer by eating this particular food. What they don't tell you is only 1% of the population actually at risk of getting that cancer, and there's only one person in 100,000, and now by doing this, 2 people in 100,000 are actually at risk of getting cancer. So it's not really as dramatic as it sounds, because they're just doubling a very small number. It doesn't take much. One person will double a number. So you can really play with statistics to manipulate on those kind of things. Have you got anything more to add there, Paul, on that one?
No, that's great. I like the idea of, like, say, half price a second sibling. It makes it seem more, doesn't it? It makes it seem a little bit more, oh, that's a really good offer, rather than just a monetary kind of offer, rather like a percentage. Yeah. So yeah, I like that.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you've already got the first one anyway. They're already enrolling the first one. They're really debating whether to bring in the second one. So, yeah, if you say it's half price for the second one. And yeah, I also go with the idea of, in sales, you try, your aim is not to give away any more than you have to, because the more you give away, the more you eat away at your actual profit, and the more you eat away at your profit, the less you can actually give back to your students in terms of value. And that's what we often forget. We think that it's all about money and price, and one of the reasons that I am not big on giving any kind of discount is simply because when you start to do that, it's unfair on everybody else. So you imagine with you guys in the network, if I give some of you a discount and not others, then that's unfair on the others, because the others are paying full price while you guys are paying a lower price. So in this case, you can get away with it. You can justify it. You can just say, look, a second sibling, we understand it's coming from the one household, so we want to give them an offer. But that's my only point there. Is just be careful when offering discounts, because if word gets around, then it can seem unfair, and people start to pull you up on it. Okay, so let's have a look at the other topic of endorsement. Paul, can you tell us how you got these guitars in the first place?
Nothing other than just sending an email and asking for something. It wasn't anything, say, out the ordinary that I've done with every company I emailed. In the first Praxathon, I emailed probably 50 or so companies, and then a small percentage got back. So last year was the best, but I think it's because I was G4 then. The Praxathon before, I wasn't. So I think that held a bit more clout. So no, I think it was just right time. Taylor have these guitars the first year anyway, sorry, last year, and they were looking to donate it to charitable causes. So he just said, oh, we've got them here, we're not selling them, they're out the marketplace, so you can have them. And then this year I emailed him back, said, hi Dave, remember me? Thanks very much for last year. And he said, yeah, we got good timing, so we literally only got a couple left. More than happy to do it again. So I think it's just really right place, right time.
Yeah, and you've built a relationship now, which is great. Excellent.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess it's as simple as that. Email, make contact, build up some collateral, if you like, with people in the business. I think going to music shows would be really good. Guitar shows, whatever. Turning up to those and talking to the reps and getting to know them, I think would be a great way. That's what I would do. I would go there, start talking to the reps. Take your shirt, wear your shirt, tell them who you are, tell them what G4 is all about. When they see G4, they see it as a big organisation where we're not just one teacher, as most are. We're actually, around the world. So, yeah, and I think it definitely carries a fair bit of weight and a fair bit of clout. So, if any of you guys, if you want to do that, if there's a music show, guitar show on, then just rock on along and just say, hey, have you got any merchandise you want to give away? Because we often have practice-a-thons. Just tell them what you do and the different things. And I personally think nothing beats a face-to-face meeting with people. You're just able to make that personal contact. Providing you're a people person, it should go well. Okay, excellent. Has anyone else tried anything here? If you have, just switch off your mute and let me know. I don't know if anyone else has tried an endorsement. No? Okay, cool. I actually did send a few things years ago, and I did get some positive response back, but they were kind of at that stage where they wanted to know a little bit more. They weren't quite ready. It was Maton Guitars, which are an Australian guitar maker, and who is the other one? I've just forgotten for a minute. But they offered to send me some T-shirts, but I was looking for something a little bit more substantial because we already had our own shirts. So it was worthwhile, and they were interested at the time, and I think now they'd be a lot more interested in partnering. I know with places like, and this was years ago, I went to Music Institute in Hollywood, and they had just been fully fitted out by Mesa Boogie. I don't know, there was a lot of merchandise they put in there. The whole place was fitted out in their gear, and that's the kind of thing that we can look at as well. And as you build your studios and things, just look for what you can get. I know one of the teachers, Aaron in Sydney, is getting kind of a decal done for his wall, but it could be something that he could possibly go to one of the companies for, like Diodario or something like that, and say, look, I've got this wall, I want to do something with it. I don't want it to be overly advertising you guys, but if you guys want to sort of help me here, I'd happily put a logo down the bottom or put something up to sort of show that you guys contributed. So there's all sorts of ideas like that, especially in terms of fitting out your studio where they can say they can get some value out of it. All right. Jonathan, have you got any topics, any stories to share, anything you want to chime in on?
Not really. I was just, saw the 8:30 after I finished lesson. I thought I'd jump on and hang out, so to speak. So,
okay, cool.
Yeah.
Well, I've got you then. I know so you guys in Adelaide have gotten together. I'm looking at your group. Can you tell us a bit about that? It looks really good.
Yeah, cool. So on Sunday we held the G4 Guitar School's Adelaide Showcase. So so what we did was we all got together and I set up a little bit of a stage area in my studio because I've got a bit of an old warehouse, so half of it's empty. So we just kind of raided that end of the warehouse and set up the PA and whatnot. And had a bit of a showcase, so we had about 50 or so people come down, which was awesome. So each school. So that for those who don't know, which is Adelaide, so we've got my school, which is Blair Athol. Then we've got Norwood, which is Michael's school. Then we've got Flagstaff Hill, which is Fernando, and then Rob down at the Barossa. So we all had 3 performances each, and it went really well. So had lots of good feedback from it, and going to do one next year as well. So we'll hopefully it'll be bigger and better. So yeah,
Fantastic,
that's
excellent.
working
And
really well.
you guys have got a group as well on Facebook now.
Yeah, so yeah, we got a group together because we're all so close to each other. So I think it's between the schools. Yeah, from me to Fernando or whatever, that's only like 45 minutes away or to an hour. And Rob's probably the furthest away, about an hour and a bit, up in the Barossa. So yeah, we're all nice and close. So we chat on there, see what we can do. We're just talking about the Adelaide Guitar Festival at the moment, so we're hoping to do something as part of that. So yeah, that's a festival that's every 2 years here in Adelaide. So yeah, hopefully we can do some sort of intro programs or I don't know, something there. So we're just brainstorming at the moment. So if anyone's got any ideas, it'll be cool to know.
Excellent. That's great because what you guys are doing obviously is you're working together, and that's the impact of that. You're literally taking over Adelaide as far as the guitar learning scene is.
It's huge. It's huge. So it helps us keep motivated too. So there was a point there where it was just like I was just getting slammed with heaps of stuff, and yeah, just chatting to Michael and Fernando and Rob on the Facebook page, just like, okay. And we've been catching up as well, so we try to do a monthly catch up with all four of us. So and then we've had a bit of a jam. So watch our group Facebook page. We'll post a video up for everyone to see. So stay tuned.
Cool. Excellent. I'm looking forward to that. So that's cool, and that's something that if you guys, especially you guys in the UK, if any of you want to do a UK group, I think it's worth doing. And I know that some of you had planned to have a meetup every now and again. I don't know what the distances are for you guys to travel. I think in some cases we're talking a couple of hours to get to each other, so it's probably not as practical for you to do. But you could still definitely have a Facebook group. And try and share ideas along those lines. I'm looking at some of the guys in California now because we've got a few members in California, getting those guys working together. I know a couple of them already are, but the more we can sort of get you guys sort of creating those little hubs, then you can do things on a local level as well. But I think one of the important points there that Jonathan made is keeping each other motivated. It's one thing for me. It's a bit like your students. It's the same idea. Is that you guys are going to relate more to each other and where you are at your journey than relating to me. I'm at a different point. I've kind of done the journey, and I'm just sort of telling you what I did and what worked for me. Whereas in the case of you guys, you're sort of growing together, and I think there's a very different experience there. Would you agree, Jonathan?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, there was a point there where I wasn't getting any students at one point, and then I had a chat to Fernando and the guys, and then I was like, okay, let's do this, and it was a really good lift up and whatnot. So yeah, it's definitely worth it. Yeah, I probably wouldn't keep motivated if it wasn't for the other guys. So yeah, it's good.
Yeah, just seeing them actually, you might not be getting any students or something's not working for you, and you kind of think, maybe the market's dead here or whatever, and then you talk to Michael, talk to Fernando, and you realise, hey, they're doing okay. I must be missing something here, and then you talk to them, and they're both, you guys, the whole four of you. I just know that I wish I was there because I know you guys are all very pumped and
come down and visit.
Yeah, I will. Adelaide's on my list. Don't worry. I've got a few places to get to, but one day I'll definitely get down there. So.
Not at the moment. It's too hot.
No, I don't want to come from Cairns where it's hot all the time to Adelaide while it's hot. No, it'll be. Just so you guys know, I don't know if any of you guys know yet, but I'll be in Japan from January anyway. So. And it'll be very cold, very cold. Excellent. Thanks, Jonathan. Okay, so David, have you got anything that you want to talk about today? Any topics?
Can you hear me now, David?
Yes, can I hear you now? Good, loud and clear.
Yeah, really, I'm just going to step up on a Facebook marketing campaign towards like Christmas. So I'm just really want to know, do we use the same adverts or the Christmas Facebook adverts, or what's kind of the protocol?
I think for Christmas, yeah, you probably want to use some slightly different ads. What some of the guys are doing, I know Paul has on his website, and maybe he can share a link with you to show you the web page that he's got, and that is that he's selling actually guitar and lesson packs. And it's a good time to do that if you want to do that. You know, it's up to you, but it kind of can act as an incentive to people to buy a guitar and lesson pack through you, rather than just going buying a guitar with no lessons somewhere else. And it's that time of year where people are looking around, and if you're running an ad on Facebook in your area for a guitar and lesson pack, then yeah, you quite possibly might sell some. Paul, how's it going for you generally with that campaign?
Sorry, David.
Yeah.
Not really. I've stopped the advert on Facebook. I've
Yep.
kind of stepped back a little bit just because the open day. It's just now starting to calm down, so I'm now going to start bringing everything back in. But I was working 7 days a week for the last 5 weeks trying to do all the intros. So now I thought, well, it was a bit crazy trying to bring in more people, so I might stop all that for a minute and kind of focus.
Yeah.
So I put it up there, then kind of put the brakes on pretty much straight away.
I was wondering how you were coping with all that, because yeah, your students literally doubled overnight. So that it's a big intake, you know, in such a short period. Like we're literally talking, you know, 1 week you've got say 40 students, the next week you've got 80 students. So I'm sure that must have been quite overwhelming. Okay, cool. So David, yeah, as far as guitars and lesson packs, are we talking just about lessons here, selling like a lesson gift certificate?
Yeah. The plan is I'm going to do an open day in December. I usually do a Christmas open day, and it was pretty good last year because I think we enrolled around about 20 students, something like that, on the open day.
Yep.
But I'm going to take some ideas from Paul and use some of the stuff he did, like going into schools with flyers, and then actually maybe like a separate Facebook ad for the open day, and then just run another ad which just advertising lessons.
Yeah.
That was the idea. Yeah.
Well, I think a good clue, because looking at what the results Paul showed me is that the schools were great and all that obviously helped with his campaign. But from what I saw, Paul, most of them, the highest number came from Facebook. Is that right?
Yeah, I think it was 25, if memory, or 24 now.
24, yeah, that's what I remember now. So the 24 from Facebook. And what Paul did was create an event and then promoted the event. So, Paul, did you just promote the event, or did you do a post on your page about the event? How did you actually do that part of it?
Yeah, I have the ads. The paid for ad was the event. One thing that worked really well was you know, like the local kind of community groups, the buy-sell groups, and the kind of local. We have quite a lot around here. The local, you know, town groups or whatever, local village groups. And I posted in there about 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and within about an hour on one of them, I got 4 people sign up in just that 1 hour from that one post. I think it was just a local, say, little kind of a village nearby. So that worked really well. It's just
Sorry.
When you say sign up, Paul, did you have is it just like a click on the event so it says that they're attending, or did you have like a separate thing that filtered through to your website or anything like that, or did you make contact with them?
No, Acuity scheduling, the online scheduler. So I had it all set up so people click on the link, go to the scheduler, choose their age, then book their appointment online. I only actually spoke to one person because she didn't have the internet. She got a flyer through the school and phoned. Out of, what was that, 40? I keep forgetting the numbers now because I've looked at all the different intake and who signed up, who didn't, who went this way. So we'll say 40.
Yeah, around 40, I remember you said, yeah.
Yeah, I think one of them out of that I actually spoke to. All the rest booked in online. And then they got the email confirmation. They got an email 24 hours before the event started. They got a text message reminding them. It just worked so well. The online scheduling was just amazing. So yeah, I definitely recommend that.
What's the name of the scheduler, Paul? What's the name?
Acuity. I'll lob it in the comments. But I did a little video on it a little while ago for someone. Yeah,
and they've got a paid one and a free type one. Are you using the paid one, Paul?
Yeah, annoyingly, the free one allows you to have one calendar. Because I use it for my 5-week intros. I had to upgrade to get the to use a second calendar. So then it was separate. So they didn't log on and start trying to schedule 5-week intros. They only saw the 1-day open day event. They didn't see my normal, say, weekly kind of calendar. So yeah, so you have to upgrade. I think it's like $10 a month, or might be $20 a month.
Yeah.
There you go. There's a link. But yeah, brilliant. That was so good. It was amazing.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely recommend that.
Yeah. So how long did you do the marketing campaign before your open day?
This one was longer. I did it about 6 weeks before, which I wish I'd sent out a reminder 2 or maybe 3 weeks before, because a lot of people cancelled because I think they just forgot. Then they came, got a couple of phone calls a couple of days before saying, oh, there's a birthday party and we totally forgot about coming to the guitar. We've just got the email come through and we've already booked up. So that was one thing I would say. I did it quite long in advance, but then forgot to kind of remind them.
Okay.
So that was something I'll make sure I do next time.
Yeah, I'm thinking of doing some sort of open day early next year. So I'm just trying to get all the ideas now and get prepared. So yeah, no, it's cool. Cheers.
Cool. I would, in Paul's case, he was quite overwhelmed, so he wouldn't have needed to do this, and I wouldn't have suggested for you, Paul, because you had enough on your plate. But what you can do sometimes in these cases is do a follow-up where you say that, we understand a lot of people, wanted to come to the open day and the day didn't fit. So what we're going to do is one follow-up where you can come in and grab a free lesson, within the next 7 days or something like that. So you just do a follow-up email only to those people who showed interest but didn't actually turn up. So it's something to think about as a way of, sort of looking at those students who didn't actually turn up but wanted to come. Cool. So so I think the buy and sell groups, that's huge. That's a great one, and I know that's a strategy that other people use as well. I've met different guys in these marketing seminars that I go to, and they often refer to these groups, and they post a lot of stuff in there. Some of these guys, they're making a lot of money, and all they do is they sit on Facebook all day doing stuff. They're posting in groups. They're friending people. They're creating ads. They're looking for products, and they literally just spend 8 to 10 hours a day on Facebook, and that's how they spend their time, and they're making a good living doing it. So there's a lot of opportunity on Facebook, because that's really where the majority of people are spending their time these days. So the buy and sell groups, if you post in those groups, then you're going to get a bit of interest from them. So just to finish up on this, Paul, with the actual Facebook ads for the event ad, you promoted the ad. How much did you spend on the promotion of the ad?
It was £100 in the end.
Okay.
So yeah, not low. And I've still got to work out how many people actually have signed up through the ads, to then work out obviously how many of the people continue long term.
Yeah.
So still kind of crunching numbers. My 5-week intro is only finished the Saturday just gone, so I'm now starting to go back to normal. The groups have just started this week. So yeah, I'm now going to get a sense for how many people continued. I think it's been quite a lot of people haven't. I think that's the problem with the open day, because it's a free event. You turn up, you give it a go, then you manage to upsell them because the excitement's there. I didn't push as much as I should have about practice. I found that's one of the main things that a lot of people have killed. They've had too many clubs after school. They've signed them up. They didn't realise they had to practice, every day. Quite a few people have said that. But I can see it's quite valid, because you talk to them, they're doing trampolining this day and another club this day. They're so booked. So that was one thing I would say is make sure you upfront about the commitment. So I think 5 people didn't finish the 5 intro, and that's quite rare. Normally, I'm quite high in finishing 5 intros.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it is.
Sometimes psychologically there's a thing there where you feel, wow, I've got all these students, and because you're kind of dealing with it, there's less of that kind of urgency that you would normally have, or the attention to detail, if you know what I mean. Because especially if you're working 7 days a week, you're tired, and and I know you would have been still giving, playing a great game, so to speak, but you can't help but sort of feel, I don't need to try and convert everyone here. If I just get half of these, I'll be happy. And so sometimes that can come into it. I know we did an open day some years ago, and we basically enrolled 100 students at the time, and these are people who all basically paid some money, but it was the same thing. I think we ended up with about 30% of them by the end that rolled over after the intro. So. Okay, that's great. Excellent.
Can I just ask? I just wanted to chime in. What format did the open day actually take, Paul? Was it? I'm presuming you ran it actually at your site. So was it just basically an opportunity for people to come in and see the studio and to have a sort of free lesson? Or did you have a sort of giveaway guitar or anything? I was just trying to get a bit more information about what you actually did.
Yeah, it was a free lesson, so pre-booked free lesson, half an hour lesson, groups maximum of 4, but we made them sometimes bigger because a couple of people walked in off the street. So yeah, half an hour, just introduction, went over picking, really kind of basic stuff, and then at the end, then offered them the 5 intro upgrade. If they signed up on the day, they were put into a prize draw to win a guitar package, and they got their first group lesson free. That's how it was run.
Right. Okay. And sorry, I'm looking at this on the iPad, so I didn't get the comments bit. What was the software you mentioned that you used for doing all the sort of reminders and the updates and whatnot?
It was Acuity Scheduling. I've put a little video up there for Ken because he asked me a question about it, of how you can kind of format it, whatever, to book in 5 intros. Yeah, it's really good.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think you posted in the group, didn't you?
Yeah.
At some point. Yeah. I'll just, on the bottom of the Hangout there, Trevor, in the Facebook group, I've just put the link to Acuity there, so if you can't find it, it's just there.
Thank you.
There was one other thing I wanted to say too, Paul, was are you all the people, when you're doing your marketing on Facebook, are you capturing those people through a pixel so you can remarket to them?
No, I'd only just come back from the conference or the seminar where Ryan Dice said it, and I'd never really heard of it before then. I thought, oh, that sounds interesting. So yeah, but that'll definitely be what I'll be doing next.
Yeah, and that's understandable because remarketing, nobody had heard of it, probably 6 or 7 months ago. It's all brand new, and Google have kind of just rolled out their version of it as well. Literally, when I was in Sydney, they were rolling it out. And the lookalike campaigns, that's all fairly new as well. I'm testing the lookalike campaigns at the moment, and it's looking good. I think it's a real winner. My rep from Facebook, she emailed me today just to check how it was all going, which is great. She's sort of checking in each week to see how things are progressing. So it's exciting because I know we're kind of right on the edge there. I wish I had more time for it, but I'm getting enough time to learn the things that we need to learn. So. Okay, excellent. So David, does that kind of cover what you need to know for now?
I guess so. If I could pick your brains a little bit more, Paul, and maybe another meeting or just on the Facebook group about how you connect this calendar to Facebook and what titles you used and pictures you use, for the adverts, that would be quite interesting to know.
Yeah. No worries.
Yeah, and just generally, David, just running the kind of generic kind of advert that we usually use for Facebook. Would you use that one for Christmas, where it's just like a picture of the guitar? And I know you mentioned the package, but if I was just to run the same ad, would that be good for Christmas, or would you make it more Christmassy? Or
yeah, I'd put something in there. Look, we've got some Christmas pictures, and plus you can still go to deposit photos and have a look in there. Maybe putting, it could be anything as simple as having one of those kids with a guitar next to a Christmas tree. So the same kind of picture, but have something Christmassy in the picture, and then in your actual Facebook ad have just say the normal offer that you've got there, and then gift vouchers available. And you can have maybe even it could go to a web page where you have a special web page just for Christmas. So it's that kind of gift voucher looking offer of getting and I think maybe even if you have a picture of a gift voucher there on the page, so they can kind of see what it looks like. So it's not just a buying lessons, because right now we're in that situation where people are looking around for gift ideas. And if we make it easy, it's all about making it easy. It's like they see an ad that says learn to play guitar, gift vouchers available with a Christmas tree there. It kind of does the whole thing of making it okay to buy a gift voucher for somebody. Now I know that some of the teachers have said before, with gift vouchers, 2/3 of them never work out. They're not serious, or they didn't really want the gift voucher in the first place. These kind of things happen. But still, it doesn't really matter as long as you understand that's what you expect. Don't expect the same result from your gift voucher type students as you would from a normal student. You'll still get a third that will end up as good students, but 2/3 probably won't work out. In some cases, and I did this, and every year it happened without fail. I would sell gift vouchers and I'd never hear from the people. They would never ever turn up. They just paid me the money, and that was it. So that you'll probably get some of those as well. But if you yeah, it's just money in the bank. So what are you going to do? But what you want to do is have it so that it looks like a gift voucher type situation. So that way people have that ability to buy it as a nice gift.
Okay.
All right. All these things, just so you understand what we did earlier today, and you can watch that video. I don't know if any of you watched the video yet that I put in the Facebook group, but it's really going through the student management software that we're putting together right now, or that I'm putting together, and what's there are the kind of the main features of it. But what is going to be really exciting is that there'll be things in like Christmas gift vouchers, so that you'll be able to just go bang, you put the person's name into your database, and you just click Christmas gift voucher, and you'll be able to see exactly, you'll be able to send it to them straight away. So it'll make it easy. We can create all these templates for all sorts of things. We've already talked about certificates, and even having your cover of your folder with their name on it, so that it's got an actual personalized copy. Whatever stationery that we think we need, then we can make it up in there. And it just sources the database. All you do is click on their name, and it'll populate whatever it is with their details. So yeah. Okay. Excellent.
While you're David?
Yep.
Can I jump in with that? FileMaker Pro, I just noticed I was watching the first kind of 15 minutes, and on the inquiry form where you fill in all the details, would it be possible to separate the phone and email, the second phone and email, into second contact 1 and second contact 2? Because you've got the grandmother, the sibling, all those different options, but I don't see a way to connect them to each other, so it would just be a second phone number with no details.
Yeah.
Let's pop that in.
So yeah, this is something that I've been trying to work out the best way to do it, and maybe rather than just talking here, we need to sort of bring it up, and I'll share the screen so you guys can see what we're talking about. And it's having that the student is maybe the person may be an adult, so there's no contact at all, So just hang on one sec. I'll just bring this up. All right, so share. So you should all be able to see it in just a second. Can you see that now, Ben?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Right, so what Ben's talking about here is under contacts, and when we create a new contact. So you're talking about this area here where it's got contact mother and contact father. Is that right?
That's it.
All right. And so the first part of this, obviously at the top here, is the details of the student themselves. But then we've got that email, phone number. So what you're kind of proposing is to put the contact one above that information. Is that right?
No, as it is for the top half, but then for contact one, when you're adding in a new one, once you choose the relationship and then the name field is there, I think that should also make the email and phone field come next to that. So
Right.
the second email, the second phone number are connected to either, for example, in this case, the mother or the father. So that box and the phone box, that's it.
Yeah, gotcha.
And
All right. So,
once you do the drop down, it could be add a second contact for this student, and then once you choose to add in the mother, for example, if it is a child student, then you then get the chance to add in the name, phone, email, and then if you want to add another one for the dad, you can do the name, phone, email.
yeah. So let me just run this by. So my confusion would be this first email address here. That could either be referred to the student or referred to the mother, so to speak. And in this case, that would say be the student. So are you proposing next to the mother, the first one there, to put another email address? So we've got 3 email addresses altogether, or are you saying to drag this down to here?
I was thinking for each contact, you could have a separate name, email, and phone field. But if you're worried about the top email being confused with the bottom one, you could take the top email and phone number down, put it in the same format as the mother and father one, and just have student as one of the drop-down things.
Ah, right. Okay. Yep. So we could put email 1 down here, and just have one of these options as being student, and then having no father, no mother. Okay. All right. Cool. Yep. I did actually think about that. That was one of the considerations that I made. All right. Excellent. Well, we'll work that out.
Tons of stuff on this.
Yeah. There's a lot we can do. Well, while I've got this open here, I'll just quickly show you guys. You can see it on the video, but what I was talking about a minute ago with the gift vouchers. So you can see on here that whatever name you want to pull up. So you basically will pull up the student's name. So if you had a new student someone who wanted to buy a gift voucher, then what you do is first of all you make a card for them, which is the green button here. That would go into there where you kind of create a new detail, and all you really need there is their name to create the gift voucher. And then what you're going to do is you come back here and then you click on gift, and it'll give you this. You can see that's what you get. So and this guy here, Mr. Santa Claus, can be changed, so you can actually pull in a different picture there if you want. So you could use this gift certificate for whatever kind of gift voucher you want to do. You can create a different picture, just pull it in there. Any photo can go in there, and you could even put a picture of the person in there if you wanted to, or who it's from, whatever you want. Anything you can think of. You could put just a guitar there. You could put a famous guitarist there if you wanted to. You'd have to be careful with copyright, I guess, on that. But anything could go in there. And then you just print it. You just click the PDF button there, or print it, or you can click the email button there and it will email it. So that was what I was talking about before, about creating lots of different types of possibilities.
I noticed there was an expiry date on that voucher. Is that something you can specify, or is that just automatically generated as 2 months on you?
So where it's there, 30th of the 10th, 2015 there, then you can just come up to here, and just change it to whatever you want.
Cool.
Yep, easy.
That is really easy.
Yeah, that's the idea. Make everything really easy to use. So I might just, while I've got this up here, just spend the last little bit of this just seeing if you guys have got any other questions on this. I know you haven't seen the video yet, but are there any questions? And because I am looking for feedback and ideas, and if you want to see any part of it, let me know and I'll just go to it. So yeah, anyone just speak up.
Could you just remind us, big picture, of the different sections here? We've got the dashboard, we've got the contacts, we've got the timetable, the reports. What was the account?
Yep, so the dashboard, yeah, that's just, for now, it's really just a to-do list, so you can just order that in any way you want. Just, this is to keep you organised and your day and what you have to do. The contacts, yeah, we're looking at that. This is where, this section here, the first section is where you're going to see the details of the contact, and there's certain things that don't show up unless there's something there. So if there was no phone number, for instance, you wouldn't see a little phone icon there. This, just for example, this here is where you can drag in a picture. So if you want to grab a photo of a student, for instance, I'll just, this is part of my backdrop. Hang on one sec. Here we go, let's do this. Just put it at fun. So you can just drag that in there. We've got all there. So you can have, you can take a photo of each of your students and put it there. So if you want to have that as well, then this section over here is the booking section. So as far as when you book in a new student, if you go here to, like if you've got inquiry, that's what automatically happens when you first create a new person, is they're just an inquiry. But and you can't see this on your screen, so I already know that. So I'll just, what I'll do, I'll just work out how I can do this. Is I'll just slide it in there. I don't know if you can see that, but that's the drop-down list. That's how it looks. You don't see that because of something Google do on these Hangouts where you can't actually see the drop-down list. But that's how it looks. And so you can see inquiry, interested, prospect, gift certificate, etc. But if they're not booked, intro, or current, then they don't actually appear on the timetable. So where we've got Steve Ray Vaughan here, if I go to the timetable and I click on one of the students here, list to find him, he's not on that list. I won't be able to find him. So I've actually got to go back to the contact here, and I've got to change him to booked in order for him to appear on the timetable. So that's just one example where we're going to here. So then I can bring him up on the timetable. So we've got the kind of the two main areas of contacts and timetable. That's where you're going to be doing things. You can create notes here on each individual student down the bottom here. And then if you want to go to all your notes, you can just click there and you can see all the notes on the different students. And yeah, if you want to sort of work through them, and these will be sortable as well. I haven't done that yet, but they will be.
David Eldridge.
Yes, David's a student. I haven't. Yeah, I've put some of you up there as students. I don't think I've done you yet, Ben.
Got away.
So,
Could I ask a question about that timetable one?
Yes. So I'll go to timetable. There. Yep.
Well, it's a bit for both of them actually. When you get your contact, you've had the inquiry, they choose the time, but they don't pay on the phone, so you send them the email. Is it easy to reserve a time in the timetable, or is it either taken or not taken?
Yeah, because what you've done is with this particular student, once you so if I go here and I choose this time here, see how it went to no on the left?
Yeah.
Right. So that means it's no longer available that time. Only the yes. So if I want to see what times are available on a Monday, I won't see those orange times. Can you see that? They're not there now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone books in, let's say this 11:30 time, if someone books in that time, let me put in, someone in there. Let's say that time, you can see it's automatically gone to no, so that time's now taken.
That makes sense. But if you went for a new inquiry, and you put in a free time, but they haven't paid yet, is there a way to hold that time as currently busy without it?
Yeah, because you're right. They're as long as they're booked, and we spoke about this before. You may remember having those three categories. So before I didn't have the booked, I just had intro and current. and you mentioned what about if someone's booked but they haven't paid, and that's the booked category.
So you click that, and it will put it in the timetable as a booked status, and that means it won't.
Yep. Yep. You can pull them. You can basically they need to be booked. I'll just go through them. Intro or current in order for them to be selectable on the timetable. Because what you don't want on the timetable is you don't want a list of all your past students, all your inquiries, because if you go to the timetable and you've got this massive list that you've got to scroll through, you just want people who are actually either booked, which are people who have made a time but they haven't paid, intro students, book students who have paid for the intro, and then there's current students are the ones who have signed on for the subscription.
Cool.
All right. Cool. Yeah, no, that's good. So, any other questions? Anybody?
Just a quick one, or a couple of quick, one question and one sort of suggestion.
Yep.
I'd be. This is one really for Ben and Paul. If you are going to have a get-together and sort of brain-picking session, I'd be quite interested in that. I don't know if maybe we could organise a little hangout for the three of us at some point. So that was just one I was kind of throwing in there.
It does sound good. We're close enough that we could actually do it without too much effort, I think.
Yeah.
Head a bit towards Paul and meet somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, sure, absolutely. I'd be up for that, definitely. And the other thing was a quick question. It's a very nerdy one, but flyers. I'm just trying to find out what paper density people use, what thickness people use for the flyers. Whether you're going for the sort of thicker, kind of like 300 GSM kind of card thickness, because I've been using quite light ones, and I've been advised that I should go for something heavier, just because they kind of look a bit cheap and nasty and get kind of crumpled up too much, and they go through letterboxes. So I was just really trying to find out what other people have been using.
I'll be able to tell you in about 2 minutes.
Everyone else has fallen asleep.
just before, yeah, he'll come back to us on that. Just before I sort of go off this, I just wanted to see, were there any other questions on the actual software? Any suggestions? Any things you think might be missing? Any things you want to see?
Dave.
Yep, go Paul.
Again, I don't know if you've got it in there, but the idea that it will remind you when someone's been going 6 months or maybe a year or different time periods. So you get maybe a reminder saying, John's now hit 12 he's been there, a year.
Yep. Okay, cool. So there will be under reports where what will happen is that you can actually look at a student, that you'll be able to sort of put the students in order here, so that you can see that it's got days there. So and these will be sortable, so you can actually look at how many days. And what can happen is that when they hit a certain point, I'm not sure whether this software is capable of. There might be a way of doing it. I'll have to look into it, of actually sending you a reminder, like sending you some kind of automatic email. I'm not sure how it would do that. It probably does. I've just got to look into it a bit more. It might, when it hits a certain point, it might trigger a script that automatically, reminds you and emails you. But even in the short term, it'll be here where you can actually have a look on your report, and it'll show you how many days they've actually been enrolled. That's that column there, and that way you can actually see when they hit a certain point. You can send them something, and we could create a column, and I'll just write this down so I don't forget, that milestone reminders. Are there any sort of particular milestones you're thinking of? I mean, annual, of course, but anything else?
Yeah, annual. I was thinking minutes as well, perhaps practice minutes, which just remind me of another suggestion I had, which I forgot, and I really like the idea of. Practice minutes maybe, something like that would be quite good.
Okay, cool, yeah. So we can do where we can track. Yeah, I'm thinking of here as having it so every month they submit their practice times, and you put it in here, and then it actually collates their practice, and you can look over, 6 months or a year and say, well, you've been practicing an average of, 35 minutes a day or whatever.
Another thing.
Oh, you guys.
Sorry.
You go, Trevor.
I was only just going to say another thing might be useful of having a milestone of when they actually go up a different level. So, you know, if you've got a student, they've been at the same level and they haven't gone up after 9 months or a year or something like that, it flags
Right.
it up as.
Yep. Okay, so yeah, that's good. So levels, milestones. Okay. Just this one while I've got you here, I'll just quickly show you, is that this is the ROI, so it shows you return on investment. So what's happening here is that you can sort of sort this in any way you like, but the idea is that we can see this first one here, say Stevie Ray here, he enrolled on the 5th of the 10th, and he dropped out on the 1st of the 11th. It means he was enrolled for 27 days. We know the average, the value of a student per day is $3.30 in this case, and therefore he's worth $89 to us. And then you can see that those who are still with us, in other words, they're current students, they're still ongoing. So it just works out from today, from the date they started to today. This particular person, say here, Jimmy Page, has been with us for 61 days, and so he's currently worth $201. But if I said, okay, he dropped out, back on the 1st of November, you can see the amount goes down and it calculates. And what this does for you is it actually will take all those students there and create a summary at the top here showing you that your total return on your investment to date is $2,820. And this way you're going to really, and I'm going to be able to help you too, this is one of the most valuable things that you can do in your business, is know what your students are worth, know what the value of each student, because then you know what you should be spending on marketing, and you also know how to increase the value. And also, you could have here where you're only looking at, say, people who have come through, say, Facebook ads, and you can see that Facebook ads has returned you so far $1,259. Can you see how powerful that is?
Yeah, that's great.
Yep.
The whole program.
So, what's that?
The whole program is going to be so good.
It's really going to give us the edge, and that's what I'm looking at. And I'm not looking at it to replace things that are out there, such as QuickBooks and things like that, because QuickBooks is quite sophisticated. It does a lot of your accounting, and you don't really need this to do your accounting. Maybe later we can think about that to bring it in. What I want first is the things that are important but that we don't have, and that's the main things were the handling your contacts, enrolling your students, timetable, managing your students, and the reports on your students. They to me are the most important things, and the printing as well. As you know, you don't want to be sort of hand typing every time you want to make up a certificate for somebody, or just things like this. If we go to a particular student, this lady here, Liz, you just sort of put in what level she's at. So say she's a senior. I have to fix this, by the way. There's one little error here, but if I go to certificate here, and this is where the error is, and she's a senior too. I can change who the teacher is, to Yoakum there, and then there's your certificate. Bang. So you don't have to go and type all this in and do all this mucking around. And you can do it for every level, and we can create different certificates as well. We could have a young beginner certificate with Jerry or Grace there. You can even just choose. There'll be a little thing that we can choose to have Jerry or choose to have Grace on it, depending on whether it's a girl or a boy. So yeah, so it's going to be fun.
The school and the website in the bottom left. I noticed there was a Norwood school, but it was Trevor's website.
Yeah, it's a bit. Yeah, we're just putting different things. So, for instance, you go here to account, and this is where I put in everything. So I've just got a few different details in here because we were playing around with it earlier today. But yeah, so I could put your address in here, And
that's our personal account, so we can easily just go in there, change that if you move to a different school or something.
Exactly, and you can even put in things like your email closing. So if you want to put in kind regards or sincerely yours, whatever is comfortable for you, put in all your details there. You can even change the currency. So if you want to put in pounds there, and that'll populate everything with pounds. And so when we go back to those reports and things, you'll see it's now in pounds.
Fantastic, that's really cool.
Yeah. So yeah, that's
a suggestion I wanted to make about the practice that Paul mentioned.
Yep.
Is it possible for us to have it? Obviously, we might have to enter some student numbers, but is it also possible for there to be a place where students can go online to enter it, or if they just send an email with the subject practice times month, then they could just put the number as the text in the field and it'll automatically populate it or something to automatically generate those top 3 lists?
Yeah, and that's what we want, isn't it? Yeah, we want the top 3. I think my only sort of danger with that is that students will input it the wrong way or whatever. I think, I don't know, as a teacher I still think you want to sort of collect their numbers. You can have this set up in your studio, right? You can have it like this, and so you can just go to the student, whoever they are, right there and then, and you'll be click here, and it might say, we might put it over here to the right or somewhere like that, and then you just put in, okay, what's your practice time this month? You might go in here, right, and stick it here. This might just pretend this is it, and you go in here, and they say, all right, I did, 880 minutes this month. Bang, that goes in there on their actual card and collate. So we'll have a little section where each month you'll add a new line with a new amount of practice time, and then it'll just add it up. It'll sum it up exactly the same as the report did for the ROI there. We have a summary at the top. It'll have the total they've done since they started, and then you can work out numbers such as average per month and those kind of things.
That'd be cool. A monthly average, a weekly average, and you can keep saying, oh, you've upped your weekly average, or you're just meeting your weekly average.
Yeah, and then you can sort them too, right? Into who. So you might have whoever is the highest this month, the number 1, 2, 3, and then you can send that off to print on a certificate somehow. So yeah, so we'll be able to build all these things in as we go, and yeah, excellent, good ideas.
Could I throw something?
Sorry,
yeah, nice. Go, Paul.
Sorry, that's so funny.
Sorry, yeah.
Really, the thing I was going to throw in there on the student kind of contact card. What I think would be really cool to start doing with my students is maybe ability to upload a PDF or JPEG of their ultimate song list. So
yes.
It's all in one place.
Yes, exactly. That's a good idea. Ultimate song list, place for the ultimate song list. All right.
That's pretty much what I was going to say for the notes. I was going to say, can we have in the notes a type of note? So, for example, you had some that were teaching notes, as an in-lesson teaching notes. You had some that were the teacher rings them. For example, practice totals aren't quite what they should be, so you want to ring them. You don't want to spend kind of 10 minutes in the lesson.
Yep.
So
okay, so we'll have a note type category. Yep.
It would be teaching, admin, and then you could have things like the USL in there.
Yep.
I think it'd be cool if it was a PDF in their image, though, because that's the main thing per student, isn't it? Once you know what level they're at, you need to know how to teach them to them, and that's pretty much it.
And it's easy to do because, like I've got certificate here, I could easily just have, let's go here to gift, right? So I could easily have in this section here the USL, and I'll show you. I'll do it so you can see how quickly it can be done. I'm just going to give me 1 second. So I'm just going to take basically a quick screenshot here of the ultimate song list, and let's just say this is their ultimate song list, and it has a where you're not seeing any picture there, then bang, it just goes straight in there.
Awesome.
That's it.
Seeing there'll be another song list, could you have a few kind of headings along the left that we can edit? So J1, J2, we can try and put songs into those categories, so we can very easily see, just by clicking on the contact details, this will pop up and you'll see, right, these are the 3 songs I'm looking at now, and then those are the songs that I can get them excited about for the next checklist.
Can you say that again? I didn't quite follow.
So just a couple of text fields next to the actual PDF of their song list,
yep,
where we can effectively prioritize the songs on the list. So
right,
pick out some that are J1, hopefully from that database I'm making, and you can just say, and if it does work, it matches up to my database, we could even put a link on the thing. So in the lesson, you can just click contact. Okay, that's one of the songs. Click that one, and then it just comes up with the details from the database, so you know exactly how to play it, what level it is.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, so we'll be able to do all those things as well, and that's good idea. Yeah, because what you might do is you drag the ultimate song list in here. We could even have it so that those songs could be typed in here, so you could have those, and then you could have a link next to them, which would take you to a copy of the song if you wanted it, whatever. So you've got those possibilities, because when you go over to where are we here? So we go to the notes here, just as an example here. These are links, so I could put a link in there. You know, I'll just put the G4 guitar. Just doesn't really matter what it is, and then it produces a little icon there, which if I click on, it takes me to that website, and so you can link to whatever you like. And so this down here could even be a whole bunch of songs we could have just one of these for a student where it has instead of like a to-do list here, it could be a list of their ultimate song list there, and then you could have links to it. You could even have notes on it saying you know, what level it is, whether they're ready for it. So you can take it to whatever level you want. It's just going to be a matter of, you know, how far do you want to take it. So.
Cool.
Excellent. All right. So any last comments before we sign off? Is that all good? On anything?
All good.
Excellent.
Yep. All good.
Thanks, guys. That was a good one. So I shall hopefully see you on Facebook, of course, but same time, same channel next week.
Cool. See you then.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.